Okay, so today I'm going to tell you the story about how His Excellency came to exist and why we put such a huge shaggy foot on this cigar. Not from a technical sense, but from a sentimental sense, what this cigar actually means to us and part of how it got its name. And that concludes in the story of the most epic blending day ever. Now, this is the most epic blending day ever for me, and I'm sure hopefully we'll have a great many more of them. So it was the first time in our factory that we were actually able to collect all of our tobacco that we've been cultivating for the last 5 years, bring it all together in one place, and actually start blending cigars. So very exciting day for us. And Esteban was going to start working on the blends. I talked to Anthony. He said, "Hey, do you want to come up and watch Esteban work on the blends?" I said, "Absolutely." So I show up. It's a Saturday. I've got my sparkly water and my coffee. I'm ready to go. We're ready to watch the master at work. And I show up at the factory and we're laying out all the tobacco and it looks beautiful. It's amazing. It's the first time we've actually got all the tobaccos that we're going to use together in the same room to start working on them. And I look around, we have the Bunchero, the Torcedores there, and I say, "Where's Esteban?" And Anthony had called him up and he said, we've got a big problem. One of the farms that we have under contract was actually sold to a guy in Managua. And he wasn't really happy about the fact that tobacco was on the farm or anything like that. The problem was is we quite literally had thousands of pounds of tobacco in the barn. And so Esteban is off trying to fix that issue. And if you don't open the barn doors before noon, the tobacco has a chance of setting, and that will cause issues throughout fermentation and could potentially even ruin that tobacco. So he's off working on that. So we're laying out all the tobacco and checking it out. And Anthony goes, "Do you want to put together some cigars?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely. That'd be awesome." So I start, working on the tobacco and putting together some little cigars and tasting the tobacco, a bunch of different little cigars. And all of a sudden, I'm back in my kitchen in Kansas City, and I'm a little bit of a home chef. I like to cook for friends and so on. And I'm combining salty and sweet and the flavors and putting the tobacco together, and they're pretty good. It's around noon, and Esteban comes, walking through the door, and he's got his on his phone a video. He actually had to have the police raid the farm. Of course, here in Esteli, they know how important it is for the tobacco to not set into the evening. So the police actually went out there and helped us remedy the issue since we still had a lease on the property. And he's showing us the video, and he has this crazy story. And he looks over at the table, and we have all these cigars laid out, and he says, "Well, who put these together?" And he goes, "Well, Daniel did." And he goes, "Well, let's try them out." And at that point, we had already gone ahead and thrown a couple of wrappers on a few of them, and he goes through and tastes them and tries this cigar, tries that one. He says, "Okay, give me 20 of these, give me 20 of these," and then he goes, "Put jalapa in this. I'll be back. I have to go to the bank and sign a document." And he's gone. And Anthony goes, "That was really good." He goes, "That was really good." And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. The cigars are smoking great and stuff." That's how I took it. And so, he ends up coming back. Esteban ends up coming back after going to the bank, and we worked together the rest of the day. And he asked me, "Will you stay till tomorrow?" He goes, "I want to work with you all day tomorrow." And this is the beginning of our collaboration. And I go, "Absolutely, I'll stay." I grab a hotel in Esteli. I'm up from Managua, and grab a hotel. So the next morning I come in again. We've got the Torcedor and the Buncheros there. I've got my coffee and sparkly water ready to go, ready to watch the master at work. And once again, I ask, "Where's Esteban?" And Anthony says, "Man," he goes, "We have a big issue again." He goes, "We got a call from a friend of ours, a Cuban friend of ours, and one of the contract farmers that we had in Pueblo Nuevo was apparently trying to sell a bunch of our tobacco. So he's off in the truck going to Pueblo Nuevo to make sure that the tobacco is still there." And so I said, "Hey, how about we do the same thing? We'll just start putting together some little cigars and trying it out." And that's actually where this blend came from, which is New Gentropy. And it's an incredible blend, and we wanted you to be able to smoke it the same way that we smoked it the first time. And when we made the decision to manufacture this cigar, of course we laid it down with the wrapper, but we wanted you to actually taste the bunch and taste the flavor change that happens in this cigar. It's really incredible. So Esteban comes again walking through the door after he's solved the problem with the farmer in Pueblo Nuevo, and picks up the cigar, and he tastes the cigar, and he says, 20 of these again. And it's getting into the late afternoon, and Anthony asked me if I would go to lunch before I head back to Managua, and I said absolutely sure. So we go off to lunch together, and Anthony says, this weekend was really good. This is the beginning of Esteban and I's creative collaboration, and they really weren't sure what it was going to look like. And I told Anthony, I go, what do you mean it was really good? Like explain that to me, because he kept saying that. And he said, normally whenever we work on blends, my father goes off and puts together a blend, and we smoke it and then decide on the cigar as a finished cigar. He's never really got to collaborate with someone like this, and not only that, get everyone involved, get the Banchero involved, and get Anthony involved. And he hadn't been part of that creative experience before. And he hadn't got into that more artistic side of mixing the different tobaccos together, and almost alchemy, frankly. But he said it was really good, and it hit me at that moment because in my head I was back in my kitchen in Kansas City, putting together food. And yes, I smoke in my house, but when when I'm putting together food for my friends and all that, I'm smoking one of Esteban's cigars generally. So I think I was actually putting together tobacco in the way that he would like it to be referenced through this, medium of a, a super user of his products. I've been following his catalog for more than 10 years, more than 15, more than 20 almost, going back a very, very long time in his work. And so it was a really special moment. It kind of reminded me of like that A.E. Hoffman gentleman that ended up living with Ernest Hemingway for a period of time and had written books about him and all that. And, now the gravity of the situation was hitting me that, we were blending cigars together in a factory that we both own with tobacco that we both helped to cultivate under a brand that we're both owners of. So it was a really incredible kind of eye-opening experience when Anthony was telling me that this was really a good experience. This was a really positive experience. He was really saying, I've never seen my father pick up a cigar that someone else has made and actually just like it. And I don't say that to blow up my own ego. I say that as I think I was so heavily inspired throughout his entire body of work that when we got all of our tobaccos together, I was actually putting together the cigars in such a way that he would like to see. And he had never gotten that creative opportunity to work through a medium of one of his, fans, frankly. So really special cigar for us, His Excellency. We put the extra shaggy. The bunch actually really tastes like without the wrapper. Then when you get into smoking the wrapper, you see almost kind of a Grand Perfecto style change. It really shifts in the cigar. And we named it His Excellency because Esteban and I are both from republics, and that is the head position of a republic. The name is His Excellency, and we are both the presidents of each company, Domain Cigars and Tobacco Neta family at Disla. Go pick this cigar up today. That was the most epic blending day. Thank you very much.